I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the court. You have no authority here.
Unit 742, stop and frisk. Subject is becoming uncooperative.
What did I do? What did I goddamn do? The man's voice cracks with a mix of fear and anger, echoing across the quiet pavement of the gas station. He is gripped by the steering wheel, his knuckles white, while the flashing blue and red lights of the patrol car paint the scene in a rhythmic, jarring glow. Outside the driver's side window, the air is thick with tension. A state trooper stands firm, his shadow long under the station's yellow lights, his posture showing he is not here to play games. "Get out of the car," the trooper commands, his voice steady but carrying the weight of absolute authority. "Get out of the car right now." The man inside doesn't move. He just keeps shouting the same question over and over, as if the words themselves could build a wall between him and the handcuffs waiting on the other side. It is a high-stakes standoff, a moment where the polite phase of a traffic stop has completely vanished, replaced by the raw, loud reality of a forced arrest. The metal of the car door is the only thing left between a stubborn ideology and the cold pavement. There is an old saying that we have all heard, the sins of the father. In the world of police work, those words carry a very heavy truth. Many times, a father's bad choices or stubborn pride end up getting everyone else in the car in trouble, too. When that father is a sovereign citizen, the problem becomes much bigger. This is not just a simple traffic stop anymore. It is a recipe for a wrestling match with state troopers and a trip to jail. It is a sad situation where adults act like children, and their real children, now adults themselves, suffer the consequences of a parent's refusal to follow the law. This story is a perfect example of how one man's defiant attitude can pull his entire family into a legal nightmare that could have been avoided with a simple driver's license. The incident begins on a dark stretch of highway when Trooper Wyatt Sterling clocks a white sedan flying down the road at 98 miles per hour. In a zone meant for 65, this speed is a major danger to everyone nearby. Sterling flips on his lights, and the chase ends shortly after at a bright gas station. As the trooper approaches, he remains very aware of his surroundings, but he makes one small mistake. He keeps his gun hand busy as he reaches for the car. He knows that even a person who seems nice can suddenly start a fight with a weapon. This high-speed violation is the spark that turns a quiet night into a serious confrontation. Trooper Wyatt Sterling stands by the driver's window, looking professional and calm in his sharp uniform. He looks just like a Marine drill instructor, standing tall and staying very alert as he begins the stop. He greets the driver politely, introducing himself as a member of the Arkansas State Police before explaining the reason for the pullover. He tells the man, Gary Vane, that he was clocked speeding at 98 miles per hour. Instead of apologizing or handing over his ID, Vane immediately starts using strange language, claiming that he isn't driving but is simply traveling. Sterling remains patient but firm, asking for a driver's license to identify who he is talking to. When Vane admits he does not have one with him, the trooper knows this stop is about to get much more complicated. As the conversation continues, it becomes clear that Gary Vane is not just being difficult. He is using a very specific set of ideas often called sovereign citizen talk. He keeps repeating that he is traveling and refuses to show any identification, acting as though the laws of the road do not apply to him. Trooper Sterling remains very cautious, watching every move Vane makes because he knows how quickly these situations can turn dangerous. Sterling is being sharp and careful, even backing away from the car slowly to keep himself safe. He asks Vane one more time to step out of the vehicle so they can handle the situation properly. This is the critical moment where Vane's choice to ignore a legal order moves the stop from a simple talk to a forced encounter. Gary Vane continues to sit in his car, shaking his head and refusing to move. He is stuck on his idea that he has a right to travel without any government interference or a driver's license. Trooper Sterling knows he cannot let a man who is going 98 miles per hour just drive away without knowing who he is. What was a simple traffic stop has now turned into a criminal investigation because Vane refuses to identify himself. Sterling gives him several clear warnings, telling him that he needs to step out of the car right now. Vane's choice to stay behind the wheel is a direct challenge to the law, and it is the moment where the ideologue decides that his personal beliefs are more important than his own safety or the safety of his family. Trooper Sterling sees that Gary Vane is not going to cooperate on his own, so he calls for backup. Soon, a second trooper arrives at the gas station, their patrol car lights adding more blue and red flashes to the night sky. The two officers stand together, looking like a wall of authority in their matching sharp uniforms. They don't spend a lot of time talking, They already know what needs to happen to keep the scene safe. Sterling gives Vane one final, loud command to identify himself and get out of the car. This is Vane's last chance to solve things the easy way before the troopers are forced to take action. The air is quiet for a second as everyone waits to see if the ideologue will finally listen, but Vane stays frozen in his seat, pushing the situation to a point of no return. Trooper Sterling and his partner realize that Gary Vane has no intention of following their orders. They decide it is time to stop talking and start acting to ensure the situation doesn't get even more dangerous. The troopers move toward the driver's side door, their faces set in a serious, determined look. Sterling reaches for the door handle, knowing that once they open it, there is no going back. Vane grips the steering wheel tighter, his eyes wide as he realizes the officers are about to physically pull him out. This is the exact moment where the enforcer must use his training to break through the ideologue's wall of resistance. The seal of the vehicle is finally broken, and the quiet night is instantly filled with the sounds of a struggle. The sound of the car door clicking open changes everything. Gary Vane lets out a loud shout as the state troopers reach inside to grab his arms. "What did I do? What did I goddamn do?" he yells, his voice filling the gas station as he tries to pull away and stay in his seat. The struggle is quick and intense. Trooper Sterling and his partner use their strength to guide Vane out of the vehicle and down toward the pavement. Metal handcuffs clink as they are snapped onto Vane's wrists, officially ending his time as a traveler for the night. Even on the ground, Vane keeps complaining, but the enforcer stays focused on keeping the scene safe and under control. This is the biggest moment of tension, where the driver's choice to ignore the law finally results in him losing his freedom. While the troopers deal with Gary Vane on the ground, the situation doesn't get any quieter. From inside the white sedan, the other passengers begin to scream and shout, adding to the noise of the sirens and the gas station pumps. A man standing near a different pump starts filming the whole thing with his phone, watching closely as the enforcer finishes putting the handcuffs on. The narrator explains that in many places, there are laws about how close you can be when you film the police to make sure everyone stays safe. This is the bystander effect, where the presence of a camera can change how people act. Even though Gary Vane is now caught, the crowd around him is starting to grow, and the tension is shifting from the driver to the people watching from the sidelines. With Gary Vane secured on the ground, the noise level at the gas station stays very high. Inside the white car, the other passengers, Vane's adult children, begin to yell and scream at the troopers. They are amping up the situation, making it harder for the officers to keep everything under control. Nearby, at pump number 4, a man pulls out his phone and starts filming the entire arrest. The narrator explains that while people have a right to record, many places have laws about how close you can stand to make sure you don't get in the way of police work. This is the bystander effect, where having a crowd and cameras can change how a scene feels. Even though the driver is caught, the tension is now moving to the passengers, who are about to make their own night much worse. The scene at the gas station turns into a family disaster as Gary Vane's adult children step out of the car. Instead of helping their father calm down, they begin to yell at the troopers, making the situation much more tense. One daughter starts filming with her phone, claiming that the officers are being racist, even though the bodycam shows they are just doing their job because of the high-speed driving and the refusal to ID. The troopers have to split their attention between the handcuffed father and the angry passengers who are getting way too close to the police car. This is the family escalation, where the sins of the father finally catch up to the rest of the group. Because they chose to interfere and amp up the drama, they are no longer just witnesses, they are becoming part of the criminal investigation. The situation at the gas station reaches a breaking point as the troopers decide they can no longer ignore the shouting passengers. Even though their father, Gary Vane, is already in handcuffs, the adult children continue to interfere with the investigation. One of the daughters refuses to stay back, even after being told multiple times that she is free to go but cannot stand so close to the patrol car. When she continues to argue and move toward the officers, their enforcer has no choice but to take action. "Come here. Put your hand behind your back," the trooper commands as he secures her wrists in handcuffs. She gasps in surprise, shouting that she wasn't even touching him, but the law is clear about disrupting a police scene. Now, instead of just one person going to jail, the backseat of the patrol car is starting to fill up with the very people Gary Vane was supposed to protect. The tension at the gas station reaches its peak as the troopers realize that simply arresting the driver isn't enough to secure the scene. Gary Vane's adult children, who have been amping up the situation with their shouting and filming, now find themselves the center of attention. One of the daughters refuses to follow the enforcer's orders to stay back, leading to a quick and firm arrest. "You're under arrest," the trooper tells her as he secures the handcuffs. When she asks why, he lists a string of serious charges: public intoxication, disrupting government operations, and resisting arrest. The transition from being a passenger to being a prisoner is sudden and shocking for her. Now, multiple family members are lined up in handcuffs, proving that when you choose to interfere with a police investigation, you become part of the problem. The night that began with a speeding car has turned into a mass arrest, leaving the family to face the legal consequences of their combined defiance. Once the scene is under control, the troopers begin to search the vehicle before it is towed away. Inside the white sedan, they find more than just the driver's seat. They find evidence of what might have caused the reckless 98 miles per hour speeding. "There's alcohol up here," one trooper notes as he looks through the front console. They find more containers in the back, suggesting that everyone in the car might have been drinking. Among the mess of the car, the daughter keeps asking for one specific thing: her Lilo and Stitch bag. She tells the officers that her whole life, her wallet, her ID, and her house keys, is inside that bag. As the enforcer looks through her belongings, she continues to record on her phone, telling her followers that the police are racist and are looking for things that aren't there. She even mentions her doctor-prescribed pills and the possibility of being pregnant, trying to gain sympathy from whoever might be watching her via log. This search reveals the messy reality behind the ideologue's claims. It wasn't just about the right to travel, but a series of dangerous choices made by the whole group. The night finally settles into a quiet, heavy silence as the tow truck arrives to take the car away. Gary Vane and his adult children are no longer shouting at the gas station. They are sitting in the back of patrol cars, facing the reality of their choices. The final cost of this night is high. The father faces charges for driving while intoxicated and resisting arrest, while his children are dealing with charges like public intoxication and disrupting government operations. The narrator reflects on how sad it is to see a father lead his children into handcuffs because of his own stubborn pride and strange beliefs. Even though the passengers yelled about racism, the truth shown on the body cam was much simpler. The police were just doing their jobs to keep the road safe from a car going 98 miles per hour. These are records that will follow them for a long time, all because of a situation that could have been settled with a driver's license and a little respect. In the end, the sins of the father truly did fall upon the children, turning a simple speeding ticket into a family tragedy.